Is this what you want to see? Maybe even this. And maybe this. And even this. And even this. Oh, wow, having this and this. Then look no further, because this is the final guide to completion of Schedule 1 on completing the game. So, this is how to set up all of your properties as a manufacturing circuit. So we have the barn, the docks warehouse, and the bungalow all working together in a circuit for the ultimate manufacturing plant. Okay? So there's going to be there's a few property requirements that we just went through. You'll need to own all 3 properties before we can start. And then you're also going to need a van and a store full of employees. We'll go through the employees. You'll need 3 botanists, 5 botanists, and 2 cleaners. So that's what I've got running at the moment. Shouldn't have any more than that. Okay? And then for your item requirements, you're going to need 24 air pots, 24 suspension racks, 24 full spectrum grow lights, 6 trash cans, and about 30 shelves. Okay? Now, I've got shelving set up here, obviously. These are your supply stations for the cocoa plants that you're going to be growing. So each supply station I've got set up like this. You have 20 fertilizer, 40 soils, and 20 cocoa seeds in each station. Okay, and we have 6 stations in total. Okay, you're not actually going to use all 6. You're going to use 5, but I've got 6 there. And then, of course, you're going to want your extra supplies. This is very important to maintaining efficient factory production. You're going to need 80 soil, 80 cocoa leaves, 80 cocoa leaves, 80 fertilizer, 80 fertilizer. So I'll quickly do the math. So you're going to want 280 cocoa seeds, all up, 280, and 280 fertilizer, all up, and 320 extra long life soil. So that's going to cost you a bit of money for all of your shells and all of your reserves. Obviously, you don't need to start with this much reserves if you can't afford it. But you're definitely going to need the van, the employees, and all the properties. And of course, the equipment as well. So we're going to get straight up into setting up a farm. Okay, so I have 24 air pots in my inventory. Now, the most effective way I've found to set up these air pots to stop botanists glitching or getting stuck is to do 4 rows of 6. So we're going to go 6, 6, 6, 6, leaving a decent space between them. And you might ask, okay, so what's a decent space between them? So we're just going to go a full pot width apart. So this is the spacing that we're going to be looking for. Okay, and that's our 4 rows, and then we're just going to bring it out. And the keen eye observer will notice we've got room for another row. Put another row if you want to put another row. It's totally up to you. Because I will not be putting in another row, you are more than welcome to. I am just going to set them up with a decent space between them. Of course, we're going to go 6 long. You might be asking, why would you need such a big space? That is because these trash men need a garbage can to work from. So, of course, we're going to need 6 trash cans. I hope I mentioned that in the beginning. And we're going to roughly put them in the middle, like so. You can put them on the end if you need, but of course we can still walk between. Okay? So just spread your trash cans out so that they're going to be covered in a nice circular area. So we should be looking at a setup roughly similar to this. And of course, we're going to want to whack on all of our suspension stands and then put on all of our lights. So once all of your lights and all of your suspension stands are on, pull out your clipboard, walk up to the plants, and you're going to walk up to the plant, manage pot, press E, seed, cocoa seed, additive, fertilizer, destination, none for this point. Okay, once all of your plants are assigned seeds and fertilizer, now is time for setting up their destinations. I'm going to do 8 shelves, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shelves, okay? And we're going to divide these up into 3 plant pots per shelf. Okay, so we want to manage plant pots. Now, it's going to be clearly up to you how you want to thread these. If you want to go for maximum efficiency, I assume that we probably can do next. Oh, brilliant, thanks, sorry. Okay, so how I'm going to do it is I'm going to set up these 3 going to the furthest rack. And these, because it's a kind of skewed, so we're going to do this side first, all 3 to the furthest, 3 to the second, and 3 to the third, and 3 to the fourth in, and then it's going to be 3 to the fifth in, 3 to the sixth, 3 to the seventh, 3 to the eighth. So that's how we're going to do it. So that might be confusing, sorry. So I'm just going to show you. So I'm going to set these 3 plant pots as a destination all the way to the end. Okay. And if we hover our mouse over it, we can see this has a destination. Set the destination all the way to the end. Because remember, we're doing 3 plant pots per 1 shelf. Okay, and the next 3 are going to go to second from the end. Okay, and the third 3 are going to go third from the end. Fourth 3 will go fourth from the end, or the middle. It's not perfect, but at least there has been an attempt to try and even out the distances traveled. Okay, so that is all 3 of these plant pots assigned. Now we're going to come over 3, and then these will go from 4th or 5th in, or 4th from the left. So this is that one. And then these 3 will go 3rd from the left. And of course, 2nd from the left. So it's actually far from ideal. These probably should be going to the end, but look, we've tried our best, and then the front 3 will be going to the one. So production will be a bit skewed, but an attempt was made to try and even out the distance traveled. There was an attempt, okay? It might not have been perfect, but an attempt was made. Okay, so we have 24 plant pots. And how many botanists do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's quickly sleep. Hello, good morning. So let us start assigning these botanists plant pots. So they have 8 slots. So that's plenty. So let's just start assigning botanists. We're going to start from the furthest left. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3. And if you would like, 4, 5, 6. Go to the next botanist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And to the next botanist. Should be our final botanist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're only actually using 4 botanists in this. We have an extra botanist here, and I'll explain quickly at the end why we might keep that bonus. And finally, we're going to quickly assign. So you won't have these assigned to storage racks. So we'll quickly do that together. And remember, we did the first 6 here, so she can grab from this shelf. Emma can grab from the next shelf, just this one here. Michael can grab from the next shelf. And Brian can grab from the 4th shelf. Now let us assign cleaners to their trash cans. As you can see, we get a pretty good spread. So that's 3 of his trash cans assigned. And this cleaner gets the next 3. And that should cover the whole area. Now, immediately, let us put them to work. Now they're going to come filtering in, grab the supplies off the shelf, start filling up the plant pots, growing the coca leaves, and then putting them into shelves. Now, I guess we will wait for some coca leaves to start appearing in the shelves. Okay, so the first coca leaves are now appearing into the shelves. We've got a lot of plants that are being planted. Everything's been cleaned up, so we can see that we've got a working factory. These shelves need to be replenished, but it is what it is. Coca leaves that are in the shelves, and they're premium because we use fertilizer. And then what we would do is we would take it off the shelves, put it into the back of the van, and then take it to the cocoa processing plant, which is where we're going now. Okay, so here's what you're going to need to set up a cocoa processing plant. You're going to need at least 8 cauldrons, 8 lab ovens, roughly 25 large storage racks, and a bunch of gasoline. So let's jump straight and set it up. So obviously your plant is not going to look like this. All I've done essentially is just run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shelves from this beam all the way across, and then we have 1 staggered shelf here for overflow. And then roughly the same, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shelves running here. And we have 2 shelves against the wall here. And then it goes beam, bed, then 1 with the beams, and another 2 shelves here. Okay? So this is how you're going to, and then we got a shelf back here as well. So this is just storage for bits and bobs like extra equipment that I have. And then you have your product destination shelves and your product origin shelves, let's call them. This is where your coca leaves are going to go. This is where, after they go through the processing plant, they're going to come out as cocaine here. Okay? And of course, you want to set up upstairs completely as much beds as you can upstairs, as much beds as you can downstairs. And we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chemists. 8 chemists and 2 handlers. Okay? And then, of course, for item requirements, we're going to need 8 cauldrons, 8 lab ovens, and around 30 shelves. So once you have set up your shelves like this, shelves and beds like this, we've got a few lights around the place if you so desire. Once you've got roughly the same setup, it's okay. We're not going to be pressed for too much space. We're going to start plonking down 8 cauldrons. So the way I like to run these cauldrons, and I haven't had any problems with it so far, is 1, leaving a nice space between them. 2, 3. We probably leave a little bit more of a space. Maybe even more. 2. Perfect. 8 cauldrons set up like so, and then we want to grab our lab ovens. We want to have the directional arrow facing the cauldrons, and this is how I set them up. I just go 1, 2, leaving a gap here that we can walk through. 1, 2, leaving a gap we can walk through. 1, 2, leaving a gap that we can walk through, and we can just put 2 off to the side. Like so. Put this a little bit further back. It's fine to have them up against the beds. No dramas whatsoever. Okay, easily set up. Nice little cocoa processing plant. And of course, you're going to take off all your gasoline. Hopefully, the first thing you did when you arrived here should have been to order as much gasoline as you can. So once all of your cauldrons are filled up with gasoline, now comes the fun part. We want to assign cauldrons, 2 lab ovens. So I'm going to start in the far left corner and work closest to me, like so. 2, 3. So that's those 3 assigned to these 3. Relatively easy. And we'll just go for the next 3. Those 3, and then the final 2 cauldrons will be right at the back. Done. Now, we want to go to our chemists and assign them 1 cauldron each and 1 lab oven. So if you remember the direction that you... So we're going to pick the furthest left chemist that we can, assign them station, go to the furthest back, the cauldron that we started with, select it. We assign it to that, and we select it to the same lab oven as well that we assigned it to. So the furthest left, the second in from the left, will be Richard. And it gives us a handy little already assigned, so we know if we're going to double up. So moving on to John now, we're about halfway through assignments, so all of these are assigned. And I believe we went this lab oven to the next row. On to Janet. So we made a mistake. Janet was supposed to be assigned to this cauldron, so we'll just fix it. We simply go to her assigned stations, walk up to the lab oven she's assigned to, deselect it, reselect it, and go to the second one that she was supposed to be assigned to. So now she is assigned to... So the destination is correct, and she is also assigned to both of those. Correct, so that's her machines there. Okay, and for the next person. Betty, following the same order, we go back here. So I'm pressing E too early. Make sure you walk right up to the machine. Then press E. Oh no, you're supposed to click. Walk up, click, and then assign it to that was the third one. Great, so she's assigned to this cauldron. Ah, no, we assigned her 2 lab ovens, I believe. I'm sorry, I'm confusing myself. All right, and the last 2 is the last 2 back here, so that's relatively easy. We go to Nick. Cauldron, lab oven, John, cauldron, lab oven. Okay, so they're all assigned to a cauldron and to the same lab oven that the cauldron has its destination set to. So that's relatively straightforward. Okay, so 8 cauldrons, 8 lab ovens. Each cauldron assigned 1 lab oven, and then the chemist is assigned the cauldron and the lab oven. If you look back at my barn setup tutorial, the way that we set the lab ovens up was opposing the station. If you think that's going to be easier for you, so a different setup where they just facing each other might be easy to set up for you, but we managed to get that through this one in the end. Now, finally, we're going to go to our handlers. Now, we're going to select our handler, and we're going to see a bunch of options down here called routes. So I'm just going to clear these routes. Starting again from the furthest left, we're going to go add new, from. Keep it nice and easy. The first rack, 2, 1. Add again. Second rack, 2, 2. Third rack, 2, 3. Fourth rack, 2, 4. Okay. And then we want to go to the second handler, 5th rack. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6th rack, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.